Hi everyone, my name is Chris Reynolds. I'm the co-founder and CEO of OneTwoSee. First thank Comcast, our gracious host tonight, and also one of our customers. You're going to see some of the products that we've actually built for Comcast that have been deployed commercially within their X1, their X1 set-top box environment, as well as a number of our other products that we've launched with partners domestically as well as internationally. So for those of you who don't know us, we build white label premium sports experiences that are deployed across all screens, so mobile, tablet, PC. We've integrated into Smart TVs, we've integrated into set-top boxes, we're currently integrating into consoles and wearables as well. The sports technology business is in a really interesting position or space right now. Sports just in general is probably the most valuable, if not the most valuable content on TV for a number of different reasons. We support multiple use cases, whether or not you're watching the game and you're in front of your TV, you want to follow along on your mobile phone or your tablet, or if you're away from the game and you want to follow along across a number of different devices or platforms, or if you're actually watching the game but you want to enhance that experience with a more robust, potentially more robust and integrated statistical and fantasy component, we do that as well. So what I'm going to do is show you a couple of videos of some of our newer products that we've launched in 2014 and in 2015, and as well as demonstrating what we're doing, frankly, in the cable guide. And I know that doesn't sound so sexy, but it's actually really interesting, and I think you guys will appreciate it when you get a chance to take a look at it. So why don't we hit play on the video? Yeah, so thanks, Brad. These are examples of our over-the-top solutions. So the first one was recently deployed with Comcast in December around the NFL, where we worked very closely with our partners here in Philadelphia, as well as their innovation lab out in the Silicon Valley, integrating our NFL platform into the X1 platform. That second example was actually something that we launched over the summer with LG around Major League Baseball and Bloomberg Sports. And this is an example of an application that we launched with Samsung at the beginning of the football season as well, mimicking a lot of the same characteristics of our NFL product across all platforms, but integrating them into a Smart TV environment where fans would have the ability to access not only all the real-time stats and data around the game that they're watching, but also having the ability to access their fantasy team and follow their fantasy team and all the stats around that team in real time. So the second example that I'm going to, the second product I'm actually going to walk you guys through is something that we actually just brought to CES and demonstrated 2 weeks ago with one of our guide or EPG partners. So when you think about these experiences and how they reside, and how you access them and how you discover them and where they should reside, we're big believers in discovery should happen in the guide. There's a number of different ways to invoke these experiences, whether it's using a technology called ACR, which is automatic content recognition, so your TV or your set-top box is actually listening to or watching what you're watching, and it can invoke or deliver a notification on top of the broadcast. We also think that, and that's great, and that works very well, and it's benefited our partners extremely well, but we also think that there's a big opportunity here in the guide to kind of disrupt kind of the traditional guide that hasn't really changed that much in the last 20 years, where you can, currently, excluding like what Comcast is doing on X1, most guides, you can nav through them up and down and hit enter for a little bit more information about what you're watching. But frankly, they haven't changed that much in 30 years, where they used to just scroll, and if you missed what was scrolling, you'd miss what was on. So we believe that these experiences should be invoked from the guide itself, and also taking kind of the traditional text-based description within the guide and applying real-time statistical updates and visualizing those statistical updates around the guide as well. So this is an example of one of our partners in Canada, Rogers Sportsnet, and an NHL hockey game. And so you were to scroll over this game in your guide, and you're going to get some quick anecdotal statistical data around this game, what's going on, how many shots in the last 5 minutes, and how many hits in the last 5 minutes. So that's kind of just phase one. So taking the traditional text-based description and visualizing it and making it a lot more dynamic. Now what you can do from here is, if you hit enhance the game, you can actually launch one of our OTT solutions that is updating in lockstep with the game and providing you with a number of different categories to follow along if you choose to do so around this current matchup. Things like box score, game stats, team stats, things like win probability and game momentum. So being able to track win probability at any given point during the game to determine who would win. Also game momentum, so when someone scores a goal or when a defense lets a goal in, like how that affects the team's momentum, their overall momentum throughout the game. And so we also have the ability to squeeze these stats back if you just want to kind of toggle back and forth between the statistical information and kind of the OTT service, or if you just want to watch the game in its entirety and it allows it to take up the full screen. You also, if you go back, can take a look at what's going on around the league as well. Again, remember, this is all invoked through the guide, so you can understand what's happening in live games, what's happening. So if you go to the preview screen, you go what's happening in up. Oh, no. Sorry. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So if there you go. There you go. Stars. So here's a game preview state. So if you're rolling over the guide in a preview state, you can understand how these two teams are going to match up. And if you hit game preview, this dynamically updates to give you an understanding of the difference between these two teams, the categories, and how they rank up, not only against one another, but also kind of across the league. So I think that's really all we have for a demo. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah, so really, frankly, no one's doing this. You start there. So no one is actually delivering what we call OTT solutions, whether it be into the guide, into the set-top box, or into the smart TV, or frankly, even surrounding like a streaming game. But as far as the content is concerned, at a high level, we're data agnostic. So we take real-time data, we take advanced statistical data, predictive data, social data, video data, gamification modules, and push those through our translation layer. And so we can really configure these experiences to be unique to all of our partners. Sure. So this is kind of step one. Step two is customization, right? So if I heard you correctly, the end user will have the ability to kind of toggle through the type of content that they'd like to visualize or manifest on screen. And we're actually doing that right now with one of our partners. I'm sorry. Yeah, so if you had a Yahoo Fantasy account, you could log into your Yahoo Fantasy account through the TV, log in once for the whole season.
What does the data landscape look like there? The drives, where's it, I mean, is it generated by marketers?
Yeah, that's a good question. So where's the data come from? There's a number of different real-time data providers in the market. Frankly, the data's become a commodity. It's really what you do with the data.
We're going to start the
Going
next
to
demo
differentiate an
while
offer.
he finishes the questions.
So just real-time data, there's probably 5 real-time data providers in the space. Advanced analytics, so it's like sabermetrics, there's probably another handful of those just here domestically. And then internationally, just kind of multiply that times 2. I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Sure, absolutely. And so, whether it's, I mean, we're a white label solution, so we sell our products, we're kind of like Switzerland. And, this space just in general is heating up in a big way, and sports is probably the most valuable content that folks, that programmers understand.
Everybody, thank you very much.